And we have ice cream.
And us personally have got Rob Walker and Tim Hutchins. It's a dream, Steph Reed.
Well, we get that a lot, Rob and I. 8 finals today, by the way. 8 sets of medals to be dished out. Last night's action climaxed with victory by Kiplimo in the 10,000, but there are also golds to Australia's Nina Kennedy in the pole vault and Nigeria's Kira Onyekwere in the discus, as well as others.
So let's get the action underway then. The women's 400 metres, heat number 1. There's some records and some statistics for you. But all these athletes are concentrating on is negotiating one lap of Alexander Stadium and getting themselves into the next round. And here is the start list for heat number 1. The first 3 and the next 4 fastest will go forward to the semi-finals on Friday. England represented strongly in this first event, with Victoria Ahorogu in lane number 8. So the smoke is clearing, the music, as Steph said, is blaring. Let's meet the athletes then. Esemye Simwaka of Malawi will start in lane number 9. Also a footballer who plays for her nation's national side. A nice smile from her. 52.5 seconds at her best. In lane number 8, she'll get a warm welcome. The British champion running for England, Victoria Ahorogu. 50.99 seconds this year. Running the semi-finals of the World Championships, clocking that time. In lane number 7, Mary Thomas Tarawali from Sierra Leone. No season's best for her in lane number 7, just inside 57 seconds at her best. In lane number 6, Janelle Broomfield of Jamaica, 7th at their national championships, under 51 seconds at her best. In lane number 5, from Zambia, she ran in the heats of the World Championships recently. Mingalishi, the 20-year-old, joining us in one of the centre lanes. Kanisha Phillips from Guyana. Studies in the USA, the 21-year-old in good form this year. Personal best for her of 52.44 seconds. Misha Powell of Canada will start in lane number 3. Ran in the heats of the World Championships in the 4x400 metre relay recently at Oregon in the USA. And Patience George from Nigeria in her 3rd Commonwealth Games. Was disqualified in this event back in 2018. Back to make amends 4 years later. And there's confirmation of the qualification. Top 16 needed for those semi-finals. A reminder, it's the first 3 and the next 4 fastest. So Victoria Ahorogu. Ahorogu coached by her sister Christine, a former Olympic champion. 2 world titles. Not a bad person to be guided by when you're making your way through your 400-metre career. Heat number 1 then. Keep your eye on the English athlete Victoria Ahorogu in lane number 8. And George in lane number 2. The beautiful blue track of Birmingham's Alexander Stadium ready for heat number 1 of the women's 400 metres. A hush drops over the stadium. The track's a little damp because of the rain that we had earlier. Broomfield of Jamaica moving nicely in the familiar Jamaican colours in lane number 6. Simwaka of Malawi moving nicely on the outside. Simwaka will be well aware that she has Ahorogu, the fastest in the field, inside her in lane number 8. George moving nicely, as you can see, in lane number 2. Around the top bend, the fans in the sunshine. The first 3 guaranteed a place in the semi-final. It's a random draw when it's the heats, and you run for your lanes. Simwaka still running nicely on the outside. Victoria Ahorogu finishing strongly, under 51 seconds this year. And Ahorogu is going to take the first heat. The Jamaican Broomfield in lane number 6 will finish in second, 51.34 seconds. She gives herself a little round of applause. She got us underway here, Rob Walker, on our first action of this second morning, and job is done for the English athlete.
Yeah, good running there by Victoria Ahorogu. Good to see the strength of Janelle Bromfield coming through for second, and I was paying close attention to Simwaka. She was wading through treacle down the last 50, and Patience George was beginning to close her down. But I think Simwaka might have been rewarded with a PB. If it wasn't a personal best, it was very, very close. She went so hard on the outside. It's just been confirmed it is a PB, and she deserves it. She went so hard on the left of picture there, out on the outside in lane 9. She knew the rest would be coming. I thought Victoria Uhuragu ran a really sensibly paced race, because she could have panicked with the Malawian going out as hard as she did, and knowing she had the quality of Broomfield of Jamaica coming through on the inside, and George had run a decent first 150 or so for Nigeria. But this was the point at which Uhuragu began to close down the Malawian. But just watch the way the African just about hangs on to third down the last 50 metres. Her stride was shortening. She knew the pressure was coming. But this was a good run by Victoria. And you mentioned that PB, ducking into under 51 seconds, came in the semi-finals of the World Champ. I think she's really, really turned a corner this season. And there's a massive opportunity for her to take a big, big medal here on this Birmingham stage.
Well, there is indeed. Her sister Christine, of course, is the British record holder. And Victoria Uhuragu really has stepped up this year. And that was good qualification in heat number 1 of the women's 400 metres. Safely through to those semi-finals. Bromfield, as Rob said, did come in second. And Simwaka are rewarded with that personal best. Got to get your pacing right in the 400 metres. You run off nobody. You have to run your own race. And the top bend between 200 and 300 metres is where you put your foot down and swing into the home straight. That's a great shot. Really does show the transition wonderfully well. And the relaxation on Uhuragu's face. She knew she had the heat one, but that's holding her form very, very nicely at the back end.
Stepping out of the shadow of her sister and all her achievements. And you could just see the Malawian there getting ever so tense just towards that drive to the line. Good run from her from lane 9.
Well, that will ensure a good lane draw for the English athlete. As I mentioned, randomly drawn in the heats, and then the positions are drawn off where you finish in the early qualifying rounds. Confirmation then, result of heat 1 of the women's 400 metres. Victoria Uhuragu, 51.34. Broomfield in second with the big Q. And Simwaka with that personal best, also automatically through.